Do business, act business. Business
Government and businesses must build a partnership that is mutually beneficial because the taxes which the businesses pay is the source of revenue government themselves will need to be able to create an enabling environment. This is Business Matters. My name is Stephen Ipalabo Lawson. This is where business definitely matters.
Business matters. Let's talk business. Business matters.
The comparative nature or index of taxation and the GDP of any country is a determinant and a determining economic projections that can help the country, as a matter of fact, to make the projections to help their businesses or their business environment thrive. Let us have our business update.
Business matters.
Hey, beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Business matters.
Tax is a subject matter that is very dear to the hearts of not just the government players, but as well as the private individuals and corporations. We are going to be sharing some insights from a tax expert that will help us deal directly and definitely insightful with our topic for today. Let's have our professional segment.
Business matters.
Thank you for keeping tuned with us on Business Matters. Joining me in the studio to explore the topic, multiple taxation as a cases and the ease of doing business in Nigeria is no other person than one of Nigeria's top tax administrator, who was recently elected as vice chairman of the Inclusive Framework, which is a G20 global network that oversees over 120 tax jurisdictions. He's one of the Nigerians' leading experts who is a well-sought-after professional on the issues of tax. He also chairs the Cross-Border Taxation Committee of the African Tax Administration Forum. He is, as a matter of fact, a fellow of the Institute of the Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria as well. He holds a Master's of Business Administration and is a man who definitely we're looking forward to help us understand so much about the controversy that is going on, especially in the area of taxation. And it gives me great delight to say a big welcome to Mr. Mathew Gbonjubola. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you, viewers.
Yes, it's good to have you because a lot of the things that we've been facing, especially as business owners, has actually been focused on the area of tax and taxation. A lot of our businesses themselves feel that there seems to be a disconnection with the tax regime that the government of the day or the government has always been definitely dishes out to the business owners. But as a way of starting up, can you share with us what is taxation within this new normal that we're all being confronted by as a result of the coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Let me state that taxation doesn't have any new definition, whatever the situation. Even though taxation started in the old times, primarily to fund specific public projects such as war, such as providing public services like roads, like bridges. Um, Even now that we are in a very difficult and challenging time facing these COVID-19 um, infections across the globe, um, more money is required by the public, by the government, to be able to find solutions, get vaccines that work, procure medications for those who are already infected, and also to secure our environment to ensure that those who have not been infected are not infected. Coming back to your question, there is no new definition for taxation. Taxation has always been compulsory levy by government onto the people or citizens of a specific country or jurisdiction for the purposes of providing public goods and services.
But you and I know that businesses themselves within this period have actually faced a huge challenge. A lot of companies are laying off staffs and unemployment is on the rise. The kinds of productions that a lot of these companies engaged in are no longer what is. As mean 5 months plus, as it will obviously have a huge impact on any business bottom line. Do you not think that there should be some kind of tax holiday for businesses even within this period as necessitated by the coronavirus?
Uh, uh, that question is not a straight yes or no question answer. And let me analyze it going this way. Now, the coronavirus affliction all over the world was never planned by any government. Whether in Africa or Europe or America, nobody ever planned for a season like this. But it came on all of us. And it came with a lot of implications. Part of it is the number of people who have died. Many people have been, one way or the other, incapacitated. And that also has affected the ability of people to move about, going about their normal businesses and generate income. In similar version, it has affected the ability of government to raise revenues. So you can see that is one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is that, like I said in my introductory remark, government have also had to find resources to fight this pandemic, to save those who are afflicted, and to secure those who have who are not afflicted, to ensure that they do not get afflicted. So in either way, it costs money. One, it reduces the revenue accruable to individuals, to companies, and to government. On the other side, it increases the expenses of individuals and companies and governments. So either way, there is a gap, and it's a widening gap. Now, when we situate this within the context of your question, then we see that yes, government should provide some sort of relief to individuals and to entities with respect to tax obligations. And again, on the other hand, government also must raise money to be able to fight this pandemic. So it's a very serious balancing issue. How do we now balance the need to grant reliefs with the need to generate revenue, because the two of them must go together. Now, if you now look at what has happened in the past, the government of Nigeria had granted several palliatives, including those that are bordering on taxes. Certain products, items that are required for health, for in the area of medical equipment, medical medicines, and all of that have been subjected to lower duties. Many of them, they have their duties completely eliminated. For taxes, the FIRS had done about four palliatives, some of them bordering on waiver of interest and penalty, extending the time for payment of taxes, and the like. So you will see, coming back to your question, yes, government will require to provide reliefs to the people and to the companies and businesses in view of the fact that their own revenue, their ability to generate income had been seriously impacted. On the other hand, government must also find a way of generating revenue so that it can take care of the health situation of the populace. So it is a balancing issue. It's not a straight yes, it's not a straight no.
No, it's also interesting you mentioned this. I mean, you are a director with the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and you represented Nigeria in Japan during the inclusive framework, G20 inclusive framework on taxation, and to see exactly what those comparative analysis with how tax is obtainable in other countries and how it is being even practiced or obtainable here in Nigeria. From your own experience, would you argue that the business environment in Nigeria enables companies to actually pay tax with ease, just as is obtainable in other climes?
Yeah, thank you very much. Again, that question is not a yes or no question. Why is because we have to situate each country's circumstances within its own environment. Nigeria is within a group of countries called developing countries. And Japan, for example, which you have mentioned, is grouped among the largest 7 industrial nations of the world. So there are certain things in Japan that you will ordinarily take for granted, which in Nigeria and like in any other developing countries, you will not be able to take for granted. For example, power. Japan generates more than enough power for its citizens. I have not seen a single developing country that have been able to generate enough power for its citizens. So within that context, it will then have to do some relative comparative analysis, not absolute comparative analysis. If we do absolute comparative analysis, then we will not be fair either to the government in developing countries or that of a developed country. Now, coming back to talk specifically about ease of doing business, I know there are challenges in the country in the area of infrastructure, and that has to speak to the fact that we don't have enough resources to provide them. It speaks to the issues of security. It speaks to other peculiar issues that are surrounding us, which you may not find in other developed world, like Europe or the North Asia or America. So these are the difficulties that we have find ourselves as developing countries, and those are some of the things we have to go through. Those other countries we talk about, they also went through their own, probably 200-300 years ago, they did. When they didn't have enough water, they never had enough power. So they have grown it, and I hope that one day, even in Nigeria, we too will outgrow all of these challenges that are making doing business in Nigeria a little bit difficult for us.
All right, we're going to go on a short break. As soon as we come back, with the question we continue, and I hope it's going to be not a yes or no response. Just a moment, sir.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
All right, welcome back. If you just joined us in the studio, we are dealing with the topic multiple taxation and the ease of doing business in Nigeria. And joining me in the studio is the director of one of the directors at the Federal Inland Revenue Service by the name Mr. Mathew Gbonjubola. Anyway, Mr. Gbonjubola, one of the questions I wanted to clarify has to do with the issue of multiple taxation. In doing business in Nigeria, the federal government itself has rolled out the policy of ease of doing business to ensure that every single business entity is able to overcome a lot of the hurdles that oftentimes they will claim has impacted on their business operations or their bottom line negatively. However, these businesses themselves are complaining bitterly that in Nigeria, it seems to be a rise in multiple taxation. You have to deal with the local government, you have to deal with the state government, you have to deal with the federal government, you still have to deal with levies and other deductions. How can we have this addressed in order for businesses themselves to be able to embrace taxation as a necessary source of revenue for the government?
Thank you very much for that question. I think we should start first of all as to the structure of Nigeria. Nigeria is a federation with 3 tiers of government. We have the local government, which is the closest to our different places of abode. We have the state government, and then we have the federal government, which unifies everyone together. And Nigeria is not the only country to practice this structure of governance. I mean, the same thing you have in America, you have in Canada, you have in Australia, you have many other countries that have different layers of government. Now, as government, each of them will have to raise resources to be able to function and perform their constitutional roles. And this is on one part. Now, what some countries have done is to unify their revenue agency into one. And so instead of having, like in Nigeria, where we have 38 tax authorities, 36 states, we have one for Federal Capital Territory and one for the Federation, which is the FIRS. What they do is to have just one tax authority that collects all their tax, and they have their way of sharing. But you know, in Nigeria, that may be a little bit difficult because of different political and other factors. Therefore, according to our laws, there are taxes that the federal inner revenue on behalf of the federation will collect. There are taxes that states will collect, and there are taxes that local governments will collect. So, taking it from the Constitution, the issue of multiplicity of taxes is already seen there. Or if we don't call it multiplicity, we see as multi-layer payment of taxes. Now, the second issue I want us to look at is the fact that there are certain things that people mistake for taxes that are actually not taxes. For example, there are levies and fees that you are paying for specific services. They are not taxes. Taxes essentially are imposed on the income of an individual or an entity, or the transaction that is undertaken. But some other fees and levies that we pay are actually for specific services that we enjoy either from government or quasi-government. And there is the temptation to lump everything together and call them tax. That is not true. So that is another area that we must be educated. Such that when you go and pay toll gate, you are not paying a tax. You are paying for your usage of the road per time. And that's not a tax. So when you pay for your international passport, for example, that is not a tax. When you pay to use a motor park, for example, that is not a tax. So we must be able to separate what is actually tax and what is not tax. So in Nigeria, how many taxes do we have? We have the personal income taxes or the company income tax, which we call income tax. You have the value-added tax. We have the stamp duties. We have the capital gains tax. So these are the main taxes that we have that are real taxes in Nigeria. All others are either levies or fees that we pay for specific services.
All right. I want to say a big thank you, sir, because as we realize, we perhaps may not have as much in terms of taxing our time. But I want to say big thank you, because I mean we had a huge clarification about some of this issue and the differences between what taxes are and what levies are. And we hope perhaps we are going to be inviting you to join us in the studio again to explore another aspect of taxation, especially when it has to do with generating revenue for the country. I want to say a big thank you, Sam.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Well, viewers, that's so much we can take on this interview section, and please stay tuned. Business Matters continues.
Hey, beautiful. Your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live more.
Business matter. Let's talk business. Business matter.
It is obvious that taxes are here to stay. Taxes are a necessary source of revenue the government needs to be able to build and create a better environment in which businesses themselves must operate. And we must find a way where we can synchronize all of these different angles in order for us to be able to work in a mutually beneficial matter. This is so much we can bring to you on Business Matter on this edition. And remember to follow us on all our different social media handles. And then remember also, you can watch all of our past episodes as well as of all of our programs on www.nta2.tv. And it's live streaming 247. My name remains Stephen Ipalobo Lawson until I come your way again. Bye-bye for now.